Hello everyone, glad to be back. Today is 2nd of March, now it's 15 past 1, middle of the day by Moscow time. I am Levan Gudadze and this is my channel in which I share latest updates on the news that are making headlines in Russian media outlets and Russian language pages on different internet platforms. There is quite a few very significant developments and news that I like to share with you for this moment. But before I start, let me once again emphasize how grateful I am for your time, attention and support. It really does mean a lot to me, so thank you very much. That being said, let's talk about news now, and I will start with the Bryansk region of Russian Federation, because this morning Ukrainian neo-Nazi terrorists enter two villages in Bryansk region. They did blow up some energo facilities in one of the villages, and now both groups are encircled by Russian armed forces and they are trying to neutralize them. But let me give you more detailed information. I did share this on my Telegram channel, and you can read it in detail if you want to. So, Ukrainian saboteurs, I will say Ukrainian neo-Nazi terrorists, but that's a statement from governor of Bryansk region, and this is his statement. Ukrainian saboteurs on today fired at a moving car in the Klimovsky district of Bryansk region. One resident was killed and a child was injured. The governor of the region, Alexander Bagamas, said in his Telegram channel, "Today, the DRG sabotage group entered the village of Lubichane from Ukraine into the territory of the Klimsky district. Saboteurs fired at a moving car. As a result of shelling, one resident was killed and a 10-year-old child was wounded. According to governor, the child was taken to the hospital. He is receiving all the necessary assistance. The armed forces, Russian armed forces, are taking all necessary measures to eliminate the sabotage group. Also, according to the head of the region, the Klimsky district was attacked by armed forces of Ukraine using drones. As a result of drop of ammunition from the drone, some residential buildings in the village of Sushani caught fire. Operative and emergency services are working on the spot. So governor did not say anything about energo facilities that was hit by these terroristic groups of neo-Nazi Ukrainians, but many different media outlets and big Russian language Telegram channels are reporting that energo facilities were damaged. Probably that was the main target for these terrorists. Some reports are saying that this terroristic group is about 40 to 50 men. Some reports are saying that their number is 80 or maybe even more. There is no exact information about this right now. Also, we have reports that those terrorists have taken hostages, but some reports are saying that they have taken 100 people as a hostage. Same time, governor of Bryansk region did not confirm information about hostage situations. So, as I said, this everything is developing right now in the real time, and it's hard to tell what is going on in reality. What we know for sure, in two villages of Bryansk region right now, heavy gunfight is going on between the Russian side and the neo-Nazi Ukrainians. And if I remember correctly, this is the first time when Zelensky's Nazi regime did send such a large group of terrorists deep inside Russian territory. So during the day, once we will have more information, I will of course share details on my Telegram channel. But for this moment, this is what we know. two Ukrainian terrorist groups enter Russian Federation. There are some casualties among civilians already, and yes, Russian forces are trying to. Russian forces and Rosguardia is trying to neutralize those terrorists right now. I did read some reports that gunfight is going on all around Sushani village. So his entire villages have become a battlefield, basically, if that report is correct. So, as I said, later on, when we have more information, I will share it on my Telegram channel. Now let's continue with some other news, and we have a report from RIA Novosti here, which said that during the night time, Russian side did conduct low-level, low-intensity, if I may say this way, low-intensity drone and missile strike on military infrastructure of Zelensky's Nazi regime, military and logistical infrastructure of Zelensky's Nazi regime. And during this strike, Zelensky's regime once again used air defense systems over the city in Zaporozhye region, and as a result, one missile was shot down directly over the city, and missiles and both missiles from air defense systems and the missile that was shot down hit a civilian building, apartment building, and there are some casualties as a result of it. And we have statement from official of Zaporozhye region. This is happened in Zaporozhye region, so we have statement from Zaporozhye region that Zelensky's regime still continues tactic of using air defense systems over the cities, which means that they don't really care about civilians, because there was many cases when rockets from air defense systems or shut down damaged rockets have hit civilian apartments, and there were casualties as a result. And it seems like Kiev don't really cares about it, and they are continuing to use air defense systems in the city areas. Let's continue. We have TASS news agency, which is reporting that, and this is, by the way, probably not the last case. I mean, we will in future most definitely will see yet again usage of air defense systems over the cities. Maybe Zelensky's regime does this specially so that there will be some casualties among civilians, and they will then try to sell this to the Western masters as a reasoning to receive more money and more military equipment. Who knows what those sick criminals are thinking really in Kiev. So let's continue. This is TASS news agency, and we had a statement in Ukrainian parliament. Statement was made by a head of committee of national security and defense and intelligence, Sergei Rakhmanin, who said that situation in Bakhmut, in Artyomovsk. As you know, Artyomovsk is Russian name, Bakhmut is Ukrainian name. So situation in Bakhmut is quite difficult. I will use Bakhmut because most of my subscribers are outside of Russia, and probably all of you are more familiar with the name of Bakhmut. But Artyomovsk and Bakhmut, it's same city. So according to statement of Sergei Rakhmanin, situation in Bakhmut is very difficult, and sooner or later Ukrainian armed forces will be forced to retreat from this town. Basically nothing new, but yet again these kind of statements are increasing and that definitely means that Zelensky's regime is preparing ground, not just outside of Ukraine, but inside too. They are preparing ground, including in information field, to start withdrawal of forces from Bakhmut. I did spoke about it many times before because there was many indicators that Zelensky's regime was preparing situation for withdrawal from Bakhmut, and now we have open statements about this from officials, Ukrainian officials. So in next few days we will most definitely see first steps from Zelensky's regime in direction of withdrawal of forces from Bakhmut. Let's continue. This is still TASS news agency, and we have statement from Prigozhin, head of PMC Wagner. So Yevgeny Prigozhin stated that units of PMC Wagner are fighting tens of thousands of Ukrainian soldiers in Bakhmut and surrounding areas, and he's stating that at least for now, Ukrainian side is trying to hold on territories, even though they are forced to retreat step by step. So we have here basically confirmation of information that in Bakhmut and surrounding areas, Zelensky's regime has accumulated tens of thousands of soldiers. There are different data about how many soldiers are inside Bakhmut itself. Some reports are saying that there may be some 3,000 Ukrainian soldiers. Some reports are saying that there may be up to 10,000 soldiers, and twice as much in the area between Bakhmut and Chisov Yar. Let me show you that on the map. I forget about this map, man. So basically that's Bakhmut. That's Bakhmut here. And Prigozhin did confirm that there are tens of thousands of Ukrainian soldiers in this area here. But probably not even Zelensky's regime knows for sure how many of them are inside the city of Bakhmut and how many of them are in this territory between Bakhmut and Chisov Yar. But we are talking about definitely about tens of thousands of soldiers. When it comes to situation on the front line, as you can see, in general, we are seeing artillery duels between the sides. Yesterday we had reports that forces of PMC Wagner did start attacking Khramove here. I did predict this a few days ago that it will happen because we had reports that forward units of PMC Wagner already were in vicinity of this settlement here. So once this Khramove will be taken under Russian control, then Bakhmut, basically we can say that Bakhmut is definitely under full encirclement. But yet again, even now, if Zelensky's regime will give order to Bakhmut garrison to retreat, probably Ukrainian soldiers will be forced to retreat on their feet or on civilian cars, because I don't think Russian forces, the Russian side, will allow Bakhmut garrison to leave city with heavy military equipment. So yes, and when it comes to this region, yesterday I did reports about some Leopard 2 tank that was some reports did mention that Leopard 2 tank was captured by PMC Wagner units in Chisov Yar area, but to be honest, I did not see any confirmation of this information. I did try to find something, but it seems like it was just a bad joke from some Telegram channel, and then some other news sources start talking about this topic also. But I did not see any confirmation that Zelensky's regime even sent the Leopard 2 tanks in direction of Chisov Yar of Bakhmut. As I said yesterday, Western main battle tanks probably will be used by Zelensky's regime to conduct offensive operation in Zaporozhye region to somehow try and cut off a land bridge between Crimea and mainland Russia. But this will probably have, I cannot know for sure when Zelensky's regime will try to conduct a large-scale counteroffensive in this region. Let's say Energodar, Melitopol, Berdyansk, to cut off this land bridge, but I hardly doubt that it will take place in March because of weather conditions, basically. So in April, maybe Zelensky's regime will try to conduct some offensive operations in these directions, but yet again, I have said many times before, and I will repeat myself, but they have no chance to achieve success anywhere in the front line. And the only way they can take control over this land bridge here if Moscow will give orders to Russian forces to retreat. And I hope that kind of order will not be given to Russian armed forces. So let's continue with news. And when it comes to details, I mean, about movements of sides on the front line, there are many other channels that are doing great job about that, to share with you detailed information about all the directions. And I will say Military Summary, for example, great channel. And Alexander Merkolis also does great updates on detailed updates on the situation on the front line, and many other channels. So I will recommend them for you if you want to know more details about local scale fights between the sides. Let's continue, because my program basically is in general about news, not just about special military operation and Ukraine. So I have to touch some many other topics too. So let's continue. Oh, that's quite interesting news. TASS, yet again, TASS news agency is reporting that according to Andrei Marochka, which is a military expert from LPR, according to him, Russian side did notice some gunfight yesterday, some heavy gunfight in the western parts of Bakhmut, Artyomovsk, and he's saying that because Russian side is not attacking in that area for this moment, most definitely there was some gunfight between the Ukrainian forces, maybe between Ukrainian forces and mercenaries, because there can be no other explanation, because Russian side is not really attacking that direction, west parts of Bakhmut for this moment. And who knows, man, we did see reports about friendly fire. It's not even friendly fire, about direct conflict between mercenary units of mercenaries and the Ukrainian armed forces. And who knows, maybe they had some fight inside the Bakhmut too. It's quite possible. So yes, let's continue. And we have information here that still TASS news agency. Today is too many TASS news agencies, too many information from this agency, but So we have information here that Ukrainian armed forces are trying to build up some new defense lines in direction of Makeyevka, and they are building pontoon bridges on the rivers, because previously they blew up bridges by themselves And recently, because of Russian activity in this direction, maybe they are preparing for withdrawal, and they want some ways to do it, uh, at least not in the foot, at least to use some civilian cars. So they are trying to build pontoon bridges which can withstand at least civilian cars, not heavy armored vehicles, but at least civilian cars. So they are preparing to run. That's how I see this picture, and that's Makeyevka direction. Yet again, time will tell what will happen. Let's continue. Yet again, TASS news agency, and we have a statement from this time from German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, who said that Germany already did train 3,000 Ukrainian soldiers, and in near future 1,000 more Ukrainian soldiers will be trained by Bundestag. Yet again, they are openly saying that they are involved in this conflict, because in my understanding, sending weapons and training Ukrainian soldiers means exactly that, involvement of Western countries in this conflict. So yes, not these 3,000 Ukrainian soldiers, not 30,000 Ukrainian soldiers, not gonna change anything drastically on the battlefield. But fact itself is demonstrating once again involvement of NATO and NATO member states in this conflict. And when Russia will retaliate, not necessarily military way, but when Russia will retaliate, everyone should remember why that is happening. Because I said many times, man, you cannot forgive or forget what NATO member states are doing right now. So let's continue. Still TASS news agency, and this information still is active in media field. As you remember, a few days ago, there was news circulating in media about Russian A-50 plane. Basically, this is equivalent to U.S. AWACS, early warning planes, early warning system planes. And there were some rumors circulating that Zelensky's Nazi regime did conduct some strike deep inside Belarus territory and hit this plane, damaged this plane with the drone strike. Same time, we had information that that strike was conducted by some imaginary Belarusian partisans, which is absolute madness. There is no Belarusian partisans in Belarus. So this was basically, failed attempt of Zelensky's Nazi regime to strike airfield in Belarus. And to my surprise, official Minsk, Belarusian president did not react in the way that I was expecting, for example, because Lukashenko, president of Belarus, has stated many times that if Ukraine will attack Belarus, they will respond, and you can see clear evidence of Ukrainian attack on Belarusian soil, but no action has been taken from the Belarus, at least for now. But when it comes to this plane itself, this plane just take off from airfield. This plane was not damaged. So a few minutes ago, we had reports that this plane take off, and that may mean that maybe Russia will conduct a missile strike against energo infrastructure and military infrastructure of Zelensky's regime in next few minutes or hours, because that's what usually happens when this plane is taking off from airfield close to the Minsk. So I did share this information because there were so many rumors, and some Ukrainian Telegram channels had some a celebration that they did damage this plane, but that's all false. Plane was not damaged. Let's continue. TASS news agency again, and we have statement from Foreign Minister of Germany, Annalena Baerbock, and this time she stated that it's up to Ukrainian leadership to decide when conflict with Russia will end and when peace talks will begin. It may come a surprise to Annalena Baerbock, but I will say it's not up to Zelensky's regime, and it's not up to German government or France government or any other government in continental Europe. It's up to Washington and London. It will be Washington and London who will decide when Zelensky's regime will start peace negotiations, or at least will state that they are ready to begin peace negotiations. This is a simple truth, and like it or not, but not Zelensky's regime, not European elites have no say in this matter. Absolutely. Let's continue RIA Novosti's report here about statement that made by official representative of Russian Foreign Ministry, Maria Zakharova. She said that German ambassador, German ambassador in Russia, yes. So Maria Zakharova did react on a statement of German ambassador von Andreas von Gaira, and German ambassador just did not answer on the question about attacks on Nord Stream pipelines, and because of lack of information and some investigations should be conducted and the rest of it, just blah blah blah. And Maria Zakharova remember times when very same German ambassador was very active to state about Russian involvement in Navalny's poisoning without representing any evidence. So basically, Maria Zakharova is laughing at the German ambassador, because there was time when this Andreas von Gaira was very vocal and very active in anti-Russian propaganda without any evidence, claiming that Russia was involved in poisoning of Navalny. And at the same time, now when there is direct and indirect evidence of US and Norway's involvement in this act of international terrorism against Russian and German's energo infrastructure, very same ambassador is like fish, saying nothing. But yet again, no surprises, isn't it? No surprises. Not to ambassador, even German chancellor cannot say anything. And will not say anything. Because what they're going to say? Yes, we know USA did blow up this pipeline. It's not working like that. If you know that US was involved, you have to take some measures and some actions. And what German can do, what German government can do against USA, just nothing. So it is what it is, man. No surprises, as I said. And when it comes to, if you remember, there was so much noise about Navalny and Skripal and the rest of it, and there's so much propaganda that Russia did use this super scary, super deadly, some poison, Novichok. And I don't know how it went in West, but in Russia, society was just laughing, man, because how comes that this so-called super deadly poison was used by Russian secret services, and this poison never killed anybody? How? There was some incident, British government said that one person was killed by Novichok because they find some balloon with Novichok in rubbish or something. But yet again, no evidence, nothing. But persons that were involved, persons that were targeted, according to Western propaganda by Russian secret services, no one really died from them. And it's obvious to ask question: how deadly that Novichok really is? I mean, you are talking about it's too deadly, super scary, and the rest of it. And why no one fucking died from that Novichok? Is it truly deadly? Maybe it's some vitamins or something like that. Because why no one is dying with this Novichok? That's how cheap and intellectually degraded Western elites really are, because they did not even think that there may be questions like this, like I just mentioned. How comes that we are blaming Russia to use this deadly poison Novichok and no one died? Something is not right there. But yet again, I mean, no one in the West remembers that Novichok story. It was used on the first stages of conducting large-scale anti-Russian provocation, and this topic was used then quite effectively, and many people in the Western society probably did believe that Russian special services are so incompetent that they cannot take out targets. I mean, even with usage of super pooper deadly poison. But come on, man. Everyone with good thinking ability probably knows that it was a false flag from the very beginning. After all, this Skripal was in Russian jail, and Moscow did free him. But majority of Western society probably don't even know about it. Let's continue. This is RBK News Agency. And this article here, based on New York Times material. This news is based on a New York Times article about tiredness of U.S. Citizens and even U.S. elites with Ukraine. And yet again, I mean, lately I'm talking about this kind of topic more and more often, because almost on daily basis now we are seeing articles in the Western media about exactly the same tiredness of Western societies and some parts of elites with this Ukrainian story, because too much money have been spent, allocated to Ukraine. Too much effort was put in anti-Russian propaganda, when society does see that there are many much more relevant topics in the everyday life, and Ukraine is not one of them. So this trend will continue, I'm quite sure, and one day we may even see some change in policy of Western elites. So yes, let's continue. But that will happen if Western society will, become more and more proactive and will try to influence on decision-making process of Western elites. Otherwise, I don't think that Biden administration or Downing Street 10 in London will even think about changing anything, because I mean, So let's continue. We have a statement from Nabiullina, head of Russian Central Bank, and she is basically saying that Russian financial system is doing quite well. If you take in account sanctions, and the Russian banking system is uh, quite rapidly is achieving. Let me translate this, man. These videos are too long, and just let me translate this. So, financial system of Russian Federation showed itself very well against the background of the sanctions. Banks did not just banks did not use reserves. So banks did not just use the reserves, but they are quickly recovering and reconstructing, making yet again began to making some more money. And yes, even though I'm not a financial expert, I can say that the banking system, at least from a standpoint of ordinary citizen of Russia, my experience, for example, tells me that banking system is doing quite well. There was no problem in any way. Uh, that's when it comes to inside Russia. Of course, there are some problems when it comes to outside communication because, as you know, I cannot even receive donations here in Russia, and I had to ask my relatives, and they are operating my PayPal wallet, for example. But when it comes to situation inside Russia, banks are working quite well. Nothing really changed. Nothing really changed. So yes, in this sense, I will agree with Nabiulina. Russian financial system is holding up to Western pressure and even managing to recover. So yes, a few more economical news. Let me see how long this video is. 37 minutes. So I will just give you headlines. So RIA Novosti is reporting that inflation numbers are decreasing from 11.36 to 11.01. Not a huge decrease, but still inflation is decreasing, which is good. Unemployment numbers are on record low, according to this news. Yet again, RIA Novosti is reporting. So it's 3.6 now, unemployment number, and in the previous months it was 3.7, which is record numbers for many years. And yet again, I mean, these numbers does give, of course, not all unemployed people are registered as unemployed. For example, me right now, since I left work at Leroy Merlin in January to devote my time to my YouTube channel, since then officially I'm unemployed, isn't it? And I did not register still as a unemployed, but majority probably are registered as unemployed. And I mean, even if you double this number, it's not a catastrophic number if you take into account all those sanctions that have been put on Russia by Western elites. So this is quite optimistic information, and it's good for me personally, because in few days time, in next week basically, I will start looking for a job, and I hope I will find one fairly soon. So let's continue, and yet again, RIA Novosti we have information here that drop of Russian GDP has slowed down up to 3.2% for now. But yet again, this is just the beginning of March. As you know, according to international some organizations and according to Russian Central Bank, this year Russian economy will grow little bit, 0.1, 0.9 between those parameters. But next year, according to some predictions, next year Russian economy will grow around 2%, little bit more, maybe. So yes, and this is gonna be last news for today. SpaceX did launch its Falcon 9 missile with the Falcon 9 rocket with the Crew Dragon spaceship, and cosmonauts went to International Space Station. We call it cosmonauts in the West. You are using astronauts. So 4 astronauts went to International Space Station, and one of them is Russian cosmonaut. So at least in space explorations, Russian and U.S. Scientists are working together. So it's good. That's why I want to share with you this information, because not everything is not everything is gone between the two sides. There are some relationships still, and this is example that at least NASA and Roscosmos are continuing to have some business together, and probably scientists are also communicating, and that's good, all good. So yes, come on, sorry guys for my English. Sorry, longer this videos goes, man, it's harder to talk so much. So okay, this is it for now. I hope after some time I will start talk proper English and fast enough so that you don't have to use that on YouTube. As you know, you can fast forward videos. So if you take a 1.25 to make videos faster, then my videos may become a little bit better to listen. But I hope one day I will be able to talk proper English on my own. So yes, this is it for now. I hope you will find this video interesting, and if so, please hit that like button, leave some commentary about any topic you like, and if you can, please share links to my videos or my channel with your friends, or on Telegram, Facebook, Twitter, or any other platform that you are active on. That will greatly increase my chances to reach wide audience. And if you want, and if you have opportunity, you can also support my channel through PayPal and Patreon. You will see links in the description. Thank you very much for your time, attention, and support once again. And this is it. Have a nice day and take care. See you soon.